So on the next show now, we have perhaps one of the most recognisable surnames in show business now. It's a pleasure to have onto my show, and I'm sure my listeners will be delighted. Welcome to the show, Michele Monro.
Hello, Danny.
Hello there. Thank you for so much for taking time out to talk to me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Great stuff. I just wanted to talk about your late father, because he is his music is legendary and is enjoyed by so many people.
Well, he became known as the king of the movie soundtracks. He was very lucky with his songs. He picked very, very good material. Songs that are literally, it's his 60th anniversary this year of Portrait of My Love, his first hit. So, it's still current. It hasn't dated.
Yeah.
So he was very clever at picking good songs. And what transported him from being a British artist to an international artist were the movie soundtracks, because the movies were released worldwide.
Yep. And, of course, some of the famous movies he done was From Russia with Love and Italian Job.
Yes, on days like these, and Quilla Memorandum, and of course Born Free. The Rat from Russia with Love is very important, because he was the very first singer to be associated with a Bond film. Although it was the second Bond movie, Dr. No, the first, only had an instrumental.
Of course.
So Chubby Broccoli and Saltzman brought him in to start the tradition, which obviously still carries on today.
And I just wanted to ask her from the beginning, what year was your father born, and growing up, what careers kind of guided him towards show business?
He was born in 1930 in Shoreditch in the East End of London, which made him a true Cockney, of course. A very impoverished background. He used to go round to pubs in the East End of London offering to get up with the trio as they'd pass the hat around him. And he was only 14 at the time, but his escape from all of that was music, and he loved it. But he had lots of jobs. In the space of a year, he boasted he had over 50 jobs. But after coming back from the army, he realised he'd have to find something that allowed him to still moonlight in the evening with his singing. So he became a London bus driver.
Great stuff. And from Portrait My Love, was that one of his earliest hits?
It was his first hit.
First hit. And so moving on, he done soundtracks. And did his music career take him around the world?
Yeah, as I said, the films gave him international status because they were released in every country in the world, whereas a Safe Portrait of My Love might have only been released, say, in America or England.
Okay.
The films went everywhere, and he was getting offers to work in Japan and the Philippines and Latin America. It was incredible.
Wonderful. Have you yourself lived growing up with your father in the US of A?
Well, we signed with Capitol at one point, so we moved to LA. And in fact, Dad was asked to fill the gap that had been left by the death of Nat King Cole. So Capitol signed a British singer to the label. Interestingly, during his tenure there, he was asked to record an album called Hollywood and Broadway. Now, my dad is known for big orchestrations and big bands, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted a more intimate feel to pare it all back. So he went into the studio with just 5 musicians. He laid down the project, and he went away absolutely delighted with himself. Well, unbeknown to him, the producer, Dave Kavanagh, decided he wanted all the big brand sounds on, and he overdubbed it with all this extra brass and everything. And Dad was disgusted. He said he'd butchered the tracks, and he refused to have anything to do with the project. So, in fact, on March the 13th this year, 60 years later, I brought it out as the way Dad had intended, called Stranger in Paradise, the Lost New York Sessions. It includes all those tracks from the original album, and I'm very, very proud to say on last Friday it was 17 weeks in the top 30.
Congratulations to
both.
The
first week it went straight to number 8, and, that's no mean feat when someone's been gone 35 years.
And so I know you mentioned it's been 35 years since your dad's passing. His music's living on through generations and generations.
Well, it's because of this new fan base, and obviously, so this album I've just talked about is actually disc 1. But what I did I actually included a second disc of 27 of his most recognisable hits, so that for anybody new listening to the music, they can then sort of see what he was famous for, what he's become synonymous with. And so you mentioned, things like Born Free. They've got, obviously, Portrait of My Love, Going to Build a Mountain, the music played on Days Like These from The Italian Job, etc., etc. So all round, it's a very nice little package, and one that the fans obviously have loved, as is proof by the chart position, but I'm just so proud of, and it was the way he wanted it to come out. So for me, that was a wonderful... It's his 90th anniversary this year, so for me it was the best present I could have given him.
Wonderful. And finally, you've written a book as well. Would you like to...
The book, yes, the book is called The Singer's Singer, The Life and Music of Matt Monro. And it basically, we've talked very briefly, but you'd say to people, who's Matt Monro? And they'd say, oh, he's the singing bus driver. And then they'd kind of stop. And I realised nobody knew anything more than that. And I thought that was terrible, really, that nobody knew about the man behind the voice. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I wrote a rather large book on his life and music. And, yes, it's won 2 awards, one in America as well as England. And so, yeah, for me, it's wonderful that, not only his original fans, but this whole new fan base are interested in the man.
Thank you very much, Michele, for taking the time out to talk about the man with the golden voice, as they say, Matt Monro.
Thank you so much, Danny.
You're welcome.